Okay guys, so this is a video on skiing with our high quality powder technique in not high quality snow conditions. So it's analogous to a hop turn. A lot of this is kind of hop turning and it's semi hop turning and how that plays in. Um, and how you can use this technique in conditions where the snow isn't optimal. So this, you have seen this run from another one of these videos. If you haven't seen that video yet, you'll see it eventually. Where I'm wearing a red jacket, but this is Roach Bowl, and this snow is it's heavily wind or heavily sun affected. So it snowed like 2 days before, and then it stayed cold, and then it got sunny this day, and I'm skiing this in the afternoon, and it's been in the sun all day. So we call it the consistency of mashed potatoes. But even if it is the consistency of mashed potatoes, you still can move through the snowpack. So there's some density layers to it. So the stuff that we've talked about before about how you plant and you compress down and you build a platform to initiate your turn off of, and then you start that turn and extend and then you spring up with the mixture of the skis and the snow and your extension, and you pop out of the snow. So that technique works just as well here. The key difference in why this has a hop turn to it is now I am actively adding a jump. So you'll see me adding a jump, and that's because the the one thing I don't want to do is have my skis in significant contact with the snowpack as I'm at the apex of the turn. And because with snow that's this thick, is probably the best way to describe it, there's a lot of torsional resistance that it will provide against your ski and ultimately your knee. And this will cause you to crash or to tear a ligament in your knee. So rather than do that, if you deploy this type of half hop turn, half powder ski technique, you can easily ski these not great conditions and look like a rock star, basically, old school rock star, AC/DC, because you can bomb through this, and other people trying to ski the same thing, even on a wider ski, they're not going to be able to run the line that I'm running in this video. It's just they won't be able to do it. So we'll watch it at full speed, then we'll watch it at half speed. So here you can see I'm coming through. You can see the pronounced hop, particularly higher up. As I build up speed and the snow and my skis do more of the work and I do less hopping, and it becomes easier. But you can see there in that shot that it was fairly easy for me to fly right through that line without a problem. And we'll quickly go slower. Okay, so here you can see the absorption and compression cycle is just the same. So it's like I'm kind of entering the trough between two moguls. I'm about to plant my right pole on the back side of the top of a mogul, and I'll compress a little bit more, and then once I have enough of that pressure to build that base of support underneath my skis, I'll initiate the turn, and then as I initiate my turn, it's like I'm coming off of the shoulder of a mogul and I'm starting to extend up, and then the extension plus the shape of the ski, and then that little bit of a shoulder. There's less shoulder in these conditions versus powder, will pop me out of the snow. But I'm adding more jumps. So I'm not just extending up, I'm actually jumping up. And in certain places, it's very clear that I've made a jump because I don't want to be in contact with the snow. So kind of what I say is the scariest spot when you're skiing something that's really steep, narrow, or in not really great snow like this is when your skis are pointed directly down the fall line. So when your skis are directly down the fall line, that is when you are going to accelerate the most. This is if your skis are in contact with the snow, because this is where they provide no resistance to the slope. So gravity is just going to take you down the slope, and so that's the apex of the turn. That's where you're transitioning from the skis pointing across the fall line one way to the other way, and particularly where it's very narrow or very steep, and it's too easy to accelerate too much, and that's where the hop turn gets used, is particularly in steep narrow chutes where there isn't room to complete a turn because it's so steep, you accelerate too much. And so skiers that can't perform hop turns won't be able to ski very steep, narrow lines because they will accelerate and outshoot their line and either crash into rocks or leave the line altogether into some other part of the run. And that's where modern day powder equipment, powder technique really fails as on steep, narrow chutes. And in fact, you don't see that in people's ski videos. If you see in ski videos where they do ski something that's steep and narrow, they're almost always straight running it. That's basically all they can do is they make the shallowest possible turns, basically straight running. And usually it's just because they can't turn. The skis and their technique do not enable them to make that short of a radius of a turn. So hop turn is like a zero radius turn. But this is, or it's the snow conditions like this are so sticky that you don't want to get involved in the snowpack. So here at this point, I have enough speed that I don't have to hop so much. But I just want to be aware for you folks that the technique isn't changing. I'm adding more energy to the hop, but the technique itself isn't changing. And so you can take this technique into crud, more and more crud and mashed potato kind of snow that most skiers, outside of somebody that can hop turn, is going to find this very, very challenging conditions to ski. If you look at the tracks in front of me, they're running across the fall line. They're not going down it because I am the only skier on a day like this day that could ski straight down the fall line. And this is where when I ski runs like this, I get people stop and ask me, how did you do that? How did you go down this fall line when nobody else seems to be able to? And I'm skiing on 181 head matrix moguls in this crappy snow. So, okay, that's it for this video. So just don't be afraid to work this technique in other settings. And like I said, this is somewhere in between this powder skiing and hop turning, where you can deploy it in crud or mashed potato snow. And it gives you the security of being able to perform your turn where the initiation is in the snowpack and then the rotation is out of the snowpack, and then you come back down for more compression, speed control, and then your next initiation. So there's more utility than just powder skiing with the technique. Okay, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.